Hi there, my name is Az Samad, and today I have a little guitar lesson that is in response to a question I received from one of my followers on Twitter, Nico. And what Nico asked was, how do you get from scales, playing scales, to playing licks? And after playing licks, how do you connect together things to make it into a solo? Now this is a very common question. I get this with a lot of my private guitar students, and a lot of people, you can find stuff online. You can find stuff online about scales, and you can find articles and collections of licks, jazz licks, blues licks, rock licks, and you can even find tab for guitar solos. But how do you put this all together? So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you how I think about it, and how I encourage my students to think about it so that they can get from this stage where you're not just playing scales, not just playing licks, but into creating good solos. This is a huge topic, so I'm going to just talk a little bit about it to give you an overview. And hopefully, maybe if you watch this video and if this is helpful and you have follow-up questions, feel free to ask me, leave a comment below, and maybe I can address it in a future video. So let's get started. So First thing I would do is pick a scale. So in this case, let's pick a very, very common scale that most guitarists start with when they learn a solo, which is going to be an A minor pentatonic scale. So this is the scale, 5th position. Just a standard, box position. It's, A, C, D, E, G, A, C, D, E, G, A, C. So just in the position. Now, if I was, just learning this, I would learn it just as a scale, meaning I would just do something like. I'm just playing the scale up, then going back down. And at this point, what's happening is I'm just learning how to play the scale. I'm not improvising, I'm not playing any licks, I'm simply playing the scale and simply getting familiar with it. A lot of people go through the same process where they just play the scale up and down. The second stage is you can actually take the scale and make little sequences or patterns. So a common pattern would be something like this. Same thing going on. And so this is, if you get books by German Schaus or John Petrucci or Paul Gilbert, they often talk about sequences like that, or maybe, or so all these are scale sequences. Now, what scale sequences do is to make sure that you're more familiar with the scale, create more interesting patterns or ideas where you are getting to know the scale a little bit better. But it's still not real music yet. It's a part of the learning process, but not real music yet. It can happen in real music, but it's not. It hasn't really become real music yet. The next thing that people learn from this is after you know the scale, you might be learning some licks. So, for example, maybe from a recording you pick up something that goes like, or something like that more intense, or you might hear stuff where something like that. So licks in general are phrases that can be used in solos. They can be plugged into solos. So I might be improvising something, for instance, and plug in a lick like that, or I might do, or something like that, where I might have learned a lick and be able to play it, and I'm trying to put it in. Now, at this point, when you have a lick and you put it into a solo, it can sound forced. It's like someone quoting Shakespeare in the middle of a conversation, like, so what do you think about, eating nasi goreng? To be or not to be, that is the question. And so it's not wrong to quote Shakespeare in the middle of a conversation like that, but it can sound out of context a bit. So after learning licks, you want to try to start using it in solos and accept the fact that it may feel awkward, it may feel out of context, it may sound quite horrible. But it's okay, it's part of learning the language of improvisation. You learn these licks and get familiar with them, play them in different keys, different positions. So that's another thing you can practice. So far you have scales, just by itself, up and down, sequences and patterns, that's another second part, and then you have licks. Now a lot of people get stuck right about this point. They know a scale, they may know some sequences and they can play them, and they know some licks. But how do you create a solo? Now at this point, what I suggest is you want to actually create a backing track, or find a backing track online, or make your own backing track, record your own, which is really good, and start trying to make a solo where you decide, or a certain duration of time where you're trying to develop and tell a story. And so I'm going to take a solo, and then I'll narrate a little bit what I did and my thoughts of what I did in the solo. Okay, so here it goes. It's all going to just be one chord, A minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. So something like that. What happened there? I have essentially created something that had a story to it. It's not a very sophisticated story, but it is a story. Meaning that I started with one small idea. Something like that. And then I may repeat the idea, elaborate a bit, and may go back to the original idea. And then the fourth phrase, I did something longer. And that's a common phrase structure, meaning you have one phrase, the initial idea, I call it letter A. A second phrase, I call it A prime, meaning that it's something, it's like saying, I like to eat rice. And it said, I also like to have some syrup, rose syrup. And then, I want to really eat rice. And then you tell, and I really love to have the meal near by the side of the beach, by the seaside. So there's 4 things happening there. One is I'm telling you that I'm going to have rice, so it might be, maybe that's an idea. And then I change the last note into something, so there's an elaboration a bit. And then I go back to the original idea, and then I do an elaborated version. And so what happens here is we're not at the realm of playing licks. We're telling a story. We're telling, it's like a paragraph. You have one sentence, you tell something different about the sentence, you repeat the original sentence, and then you elaborate. And this is one of the basic structures that I use. I recommend people to check out. And what happens here is that you're taking an idea. It could be a lick, it could be a small phrase, it could be a fragment of a sequence. It doesn't matter what the material is, it's just the fact that there is something there and you're developing it. Instead of, for example, playing lick after lick after lick, I could do another solo where it's like... Now, it's okay, there's some ideas there, but it's a bit everywhere, it's just like one little idea, another completely different idea, another longer idea, and it doesn't have kind of a sense of unity in the solo. So this is the real key, I think, to really interesting solos that develop. And so that's why I want to encourage, if you have a problem, if you're having challenges creating a solo that makes sense and trying to get out from the realm of just playing licks or just playing sequences or just playing scales up and down. It's to think about phrases and to think about this larger structure and to listen to solos that you like and figure out what is the structure, the overall structure, not what is the scale, but what is the big picture, how many phrases are happening, how is the melody being developed, how is the solo being developed. To listen to it and see the big picture. Now, what do you do now after you watch this video? Well, for one, if any of this doesn't make any sense, please do ask a question. Leave a comment below. Ask a question. I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to practice, these are the steps. These are the action steps I would recommend. So take note. I would say pick one scale. Doesn't matter what scale. It could be Lydian, Mixolydian, pentatonic, blues, whatever. Pick one scale, and then learn it just up and down, up, and learn it down. You don't have to learn it everywhere on the fretboard. Just learn it in one position first, but learn it really well. Be comfortable to do it. My benchmark usually is I tell my students, if you can play it while talking to someone and still manage to play the scale correctly while you're talking to someone, so you're not really thinking extremely hard about it, then you probably know the scale better. So that's the first step. And then after that, you should play the sequences and the licks, and then try to practice the solos in that sense, the way that we did earlier, which is develop it gradually, make it make sense and feel connected. And so those are the steps. So if anything doesn't make sense, please ask me a question. Watch the video again if I went through anything too fast. Remember, this is a recorded video, so you can always watch it again and again to gain more insight or to steal any of the licks or ideas that I've played here. And I hope this video helped you out. Hopefully it helps you to make better solos and not be stuck in lick land or in scale land, and make more interesting music for yourself and for your friends, for your audience. So thanks so much for watching. My name is Azsamad from azsamatlessons.com, and there'll be more lessons just like this on the website, so please sign up for the mailing list and stay tuned for more lessons. Again, got questions? Leave a comment. Like the video, leave a comment. Dig it, share it, and see you again next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.